Hello. I just want to talk about brands, and in fact the actual term brand, which is obviously used by the many, but seems to be grasped only by the very few. I mean, after all, brands are pivotal to marketing. It's difficult to envisage one without the other. If a product is marketed, then it tends to assume the mantle of a brand. In the light of this, it's essential that we all have a clear idea as to the nature of a brand, so we can use it to the greatest effect. And when talking of brands, we're all singing off the same hymn sheet, which obviously helps the understanding of what each of us is saying. And to arrive at this, we need a definition. However, any attempt at arriving one seems to create rabbits caught in the headlamps. I mean, people seem to freeze, and any intellectual inquiry seems to desert them. I mean, an example of this is a major textbook on marketing, which states that a brand is something which it is difficult to define, and then it makes no effort to do so. Another much lauded book stated that a brand is defined by more what it isn't than what it is, but leaves that riddle to us. Go figure. Such approaches seem to be devoid of thought or any real intellectual integrity, for that matter. One of the few appears to be from the American Marketing Association, and it defines a brand as a term, sign, symbol or design, or a combination of them, to identify the goods and services of one seller or group of sellers, and to differentiate them from those of the competition. It serves as a flag, seemingly. And this definition suffers from the same weakness as the associations one for marketing. It's actually merely a description and gives no feeling as to what is the essential nature of a brand. I mean, by defining it as just a visual or a name which identifies a product, it puts these aspects forward as the only elements which differentiate it from competition. It treats the word brand as a thing, whereas of course it's what's behind the word which is important, or what its meaning is, not just that it's a word and that distinguishes it. I mean, the way they approach it is a bit like with Alice Through the Looking Glass, where she stops at the looking glass and doesn't enter through it into Wonderland. After all, it's only then that her adventure begins. I mean, the logical outcome of such a supposed definition is this. Is this all it is? Hello, my name is Coca-Cola. I think it's a lot more than that. I mean, this appears to be a really rather superficial definition. I mean, another source for definition could well be those companies which provide brand valuations. After all, they're giving a lot of prominence to brand, so what is their kind of definition of them? One of the instigators of this idea of giving monetary value to brands was Interbrand. And they define a brand as a living business asset brought to life across all touch points, which, if properly managed, creates identification, differentiation, and value. Maybe that's good for auditors, but I'm not sure if it adds much to our understanding of what a brand actually is. As I say, it's not a thing, it's actually a projection by the consumer. As Walter Landor said, a product is made in a factory, a brand is made in the mind. So, going on from that, a definition could be that a brand is the sum of consumer perceptions of a product or a service. So perceptions are at the core of a brand. In fact, in descriptive terms, you could describe it as a bundle of perceptions, much like a bundle of reeds. It's not the logo or brand name which signify anything in themselves, but rather the perceptions that are behind them. In effect, a brand is a kind of perceptual portal through which one enters, much like the analogy of Alice through the looking glass discussed previously. So one goes through this portal into the perceptions associated with that brand. This might not be the best definition, but it's put forward to initiate at least some debate.